Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today we've got a really cool build. We're going to restore a Johnny Lightning custom Eldorado. Now this car is incredibly similar to the Hot Wheels custom Eldorado, but it's a little bit bigger and the doors on this car actually open. Now this was painted up by someone in a gray color, and there's an orange type color underneath. So we're going to experiment a little bit. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to paint it up using Spectra Flame Orange. We'll touch up the wheels. We'll do the best we can with what we got because parts for these things are pretty much non-existent unless you have some type of a donor car. Well, go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage and let's get going in restoring this Johnny Lightning custom Eldorado. Here I've got the two posts already drilled apart, or at least drilled out anyway. We'll take out the interior. Now this windshield here is definitely all cracked up and it's in pretty poor shape. But again, I've got one coming in the mail from another car that I picked up, but this is in pretty poor shape. But we'll have to do with the best we can with it and try and keep it in one piece anyway. Be real careful on these old windshields because you got to remember that these cars are approximately 50 years old and just a small twist or turn and they will shatter. Well, at least there we go. We'll get that bad boy out of there. Now there is a spring holding the doors, of course, because like I said, the door's open. We already got one door out, so we'll take out the other. That was easy enough. Yeah, there's some type of orange underneath there. I won't be able to match it exactly, but we'll do the best we can with what we have. Hood opens too, that's pretty cool. The base is in pretty good shape. Now the rear axle looks like it's coming out a little bit. May have to put a little bit of super glue in there to keep the axle and the wheel down. The base is also painted, so we're going to have to clean that up. We got some paint on the interior. We'll scrape that away as best we can and clean that up. And the windshield, like I said, it's in pretty bad shape, but we'll do the best we can with it. There you go. Yeah, that's looking pretty rough. But sometimes that's all you got. Let's move on. Here we've got the body. We're going to put it in the embalming fluid. Make sure you cover the car completely because we want to get all that old paint out of there, to include the old orange. So we'll coat the car entirely on the inside and the outside. We'll also coat the doors and we'll get them set aside. And we'll let it set for a little bit extra because of the paint that's on the car plus the gray paint that's on top of it. So you got a couple of layers there. So you may want to let it set a little bit longer. Here's one door. That's easy enough. And then here's your second. This car was sent to me by my friend Tiny, and I'm restoring this for him, and we're going to send it back to him when it's all done. Man, am I thirsty. I hope you're joining me in the adult beverage. Now, here we're placing the base in some Super Clean. Now, Super Clean is a great product, and you can use it for stripping paint, but one of the other things it's good for as far as die-cast hobby is that it will take the chrome off of plastic parts. Now here, I'm using a new product from Flitz called Flitz Metal Pre-Clean. This was sent to me by the nice folks at Flitz, and we're going to give it a try today. Now, I put the box back there because it sprays, obviously, and I didn't want it spraying out all over my desk. So we're going to spray it on there, and then we're going to scrub it down with a brass brush. Now, you definitely want to wear gloves because this is a cleaning product. It's got a little bit of a strong odor, so I guess it lets you know that it's working. But we'll spray that on there. It's supposed to help tarnish, remove the tarnish and everything. So let's see what it can do. Here I've got a regular scrub brush, not the brass brush like I said. I wanted to see what it could do. And yes, I just touched that with my fingers, so I've got to wash my hands pretty quick. I should be wearing 2 gloves, but I'm kind of stubborn also. But don't, make sure you wear your safety gear. And I need to practice what I preach also. Wear your safety gear, wear your gloves, wear your eye goggles or your eyeglasses especially, because this stuff gets in your eyes or any chemicals like that, it's not going to be fun. So please wear your safety gear. Now I did stick it in the super clean and it took the chrome off the tires, so I'm going to have to put some different tires on there. It shows you that it works. Alright, well that's not too bad. It took off the tarnish pretty good, so there's the Flitz Metal Pre-Clean. We're going to use that a little bit more over some of the next few videos and see how it does, but so far so good. That's excellent. Now we're going to polish up that base with Flitz Polish. It's like a Flitz feature here. It's a brand new tube that I got from the nice folks at Flitz. Stand behind what you're using, folks. I mean, if you really like it, stand behind it. Okay? I use the Flitz. I use the Spectre Flame paints. I use their tires. I use the stuff from Spray Gunner. Stand behind the stuff that you use. Let's get that Dremel going and get this polished up. Let's go ahead and speed this up. You've seen this procedure before. Just don't put too much polish on there because it takes a while for it to get worked into the metal and start doing its magic and what it needs to do. If you use too much polish, you're not going to be able to get to that point quickly. So just use a little tiny bit and you're good to go. I used a little bit too much there. And don't you wish you could work that fast? That's awesome. This is going to be nice and shiny when it's done, which is really cool. Now let's go ahead and attack that body. I sanded down the body some, just a little bit, but overall the body was in pretty good shape. There is one little ding on top of the roof, and it's not a ding really, it's more of an imperfection in the finish. I went ahead and painted over it anyway, even though I polished it up. And it might show, but, again, you're doing the best you can with what you got. Now, I could have sanded it down a lot more, but I'm only willing to go so far on a car, and unless it's, going to be for a super sweet display or something like that. That's looking pretty darn good. Look at that. Nice. Here's the base. We're going to wipe that down too. That polished up nicely also. A heck of a lot better than what it was for sure. That Flitz Pre-Clean seems to be working pretty good, so we're going to use that some more and see how it goes. And the Flitz polish, that speaks for itself. Great stuff. Here we're going to put the 2 pieces of the windshield into the gauzy. Now I did sand down the front and the back, but the back again has got a bunch of cracks in it. So we're just going to do the best we can to make this look good. Dip it in, wick away the excess. Maybe a little bit more here. There we go. Have to change that pad that I made out there pretty quick. It's getting all hard from the gauzy drying. Now once these things are dry, I'm going to go ahead and glue them back together. Now I could have glued them together first, but I wasn't even thinking about it, to tell you the truth. That'll be good. Let's go ahead and get these covered up with the dust cover and set it off to the side. It usually takes about 4 or 5 hours to dry really well. Now it'll be dry to the touch in about an hour and a half, but you want to be careful there because it's still kind of sticky. You need it to harden up. Gauzy, another great product that I endorse. That stuff is fantastic. Now, if you're looking for this, you can find this on my Amazon Marketplace page. You can find that in the comments.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Okay, well, here's the body all polished up, and I rubbed it down and scrubbed it with Zep degreaser. Now, that's another really good product that I like. The Zep degreaser, the citrus kind. It's kind to your hands, so it's you know, if you get some on your hands, you know, you haven't got to like rush to get it washed off or anything. But it definitely does a great job at degreasing the car. So make sure you get underneath the car, in the fender wells, underneath the door jambs. And since the door's open here, you want to make sure you get the doors too. Put some light tack coats on there. Work your way all the way around the car. Then we're going to let it set for about 15 minutes. Once that tack's up, then we're going to go ahead and give it a few more saturation coats, and this car will look fantastic. The bright orange on this car definitely stands out. That's working really well. I like these old Johnny Lightning cars. Now, some people immediately give them a thumbs down, but I like the Johnny Lightning cars, and they definitely deserve a place in our history, okay? So don't just give it a thumbs down because you don't like Johnny Lightning cars, okay? Give it a thumbs up because we're restoring our diecast history, and that's what this is all about. Now here's all the pieces. Here's the body. I blackened in the grill, and I put the markers there, the tail lights. We got those colored in. That looks pretty good. Here's the base with some new tires on there, and I polished up the base. That looks pretty darn good. Here's the interior all cleaned up, ready to go. Now I did glue the windshield back together, but as soon as I get another one, this one's coming out and that one's going back in. Sweet. This is what we started with. A Johnny Lightning Custom Eldorado. Now this is a really cool car. It just, like I said, a lot of people don't care for the Johnny Lightnings. I like all the diecast cars, from the Hot Wheels to the Matchbox to the Johnny Lightning, the Green Lights, the Jadas, the Tamicas. I mean, they're Ertles, all kinds of different cars, folks, and you can make any one of them look really cool. Now, one of these times, I'm going to use a Johnny Lightning, and I'm going to put red lines on it. And I'm just going to do a mishmash. I'm going to use a Matchbox vehicle, and I'm going to turn that into a Hot Wheel, which that'll be coming up pretty soon. But these cars are really cool. And I tell you what, certain ones were a lot faster than the Hot Wheels at the time. And they were pretty darn good. But I really enjoy this. Now, I didn't have a lot of Johnny Lightnings as a kid. I had the Hot Wheels. And here's what we got to. Look at that beautiful paint job. That Spectre Flame Orange from the Redline shop. John's products there at the Redline shop are absolutely phenomenal. And people, we talk about replacing the hoods and stuff like that. And people say, oh, those things are junk. Well, they're made out of a different metal for sure. And they're not junk. You just have to know how to work them. Now, I've got a few videos out there that shows you how to do that. And also, there's going to be a video soon on the Redline site to where it'll teach you how to use those metal hoods properly. Now, unless you can find an original, that's what these parts are for from the Redline shop. The hoods, the glass, the paint, the decals. That's to restore your red lines, and you can do this, folks. This is such a cool hobby, and it's a lot of fun. Watch the videos, ask questions in the comments, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe. Now, one of the things I've just started recently is called the Diecast Builder Spotlight. This is where I bring attention to some of the other channels with guys that have YouTube channels that do this diecast hobby like I do. Today, I want to point out my friend John Sellers. John does some fantastic work. He does some beautiful things with these cars, and definitely get over to his page, give him a subscribe, give him some likes, and watch his videos. Good stuff. This video was brought to you by the Redline Shop. The Redline Shop offers a complete line of decals, tools to take your car apart, put them back together, replacement hoods, replacement glass, those beautiful Redline tires, and of course, the world famous Spectre Flame paints. Fantastic products. The Redline shop at www.redlineshop.com, where Redlines come to life. I want to thank you today for following me at Diecast Graveyard. I had a great time with this build. We got a lot more Johnny Lightnings coming up. We got a lot more Hot Wheels and a lot more other cars and customs. And don't forget the 4 Horsemen builds. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard. Happy 2021 to you and your family, and cheers.